and welcome to day 34. Yeah, day 34. And today we're doing the character of Esther for the unique characterful animation for this. So I've already done, I believe I've already done a keyframe for this. From what I remember about these 2 days, it was bank holiday, so I was with my family. So I'm sorry if I was rushing a little bit. It's just, I really wanted to spend time with my family. So, yeah. Actually, something because I'm recording the 4th day and the 5th day of every week after I've done everything. So, just everything's kind of quite what's the word? Quite automatic at this point. But I was doing the Asterix and Obelix one, the Asterix one, and I was talking about how the construction of that illustrated character started off with the nose, then the mustache, and there was a lot of lateral kind of movements. And to be honest, the same can be said about this character here. So yeah, I think it's better if you have like the basic kind of head shape, like that kind of basic geometry, so you can keep volumes a lot more consistent. We saw with the walking, it would have been a lot harder if I didn't keep the volumes, but this one, you kind of have that circle, but things like the eyes and the nose in relation to everything, they have a sort of, from what I can see, a sort of rule. I really enjoyed this character. It's probably one of my top 3 over the course of these 8 weeks, I would say. And I'd love to animate her again. It's really fun. It's very simple construction, but still, like I was saying in one of the previous ones, one line can really just completely destroy it. So it's a very interesting character. But I really like it. I also really enjoyed. It was a kind of. I think it was the second day. It might have been the take or something like that. Like I was so happy with the animation. I was like, you know what? Let's add the little book motif thing. And I'm so happy I did because the fact that I could use it then for every single day and it created a nice little stage within inside of the animation. Loved it. So good. So what else have I got to say? To be honest, I could expand that a lot more. I could animate the background, but keep it in that square using a clipping. Well, not clipping mask. It's called a track mat. I should probably talk about the animation. So it's a characterful animation today and I decided to go with something in theme with the character, with blowing out a candle, because the books of this character are about her life year by year. So I thought having a birthday candle makes kind of sense because it's a simple animation. And just looked good. I really enjoyed it. Again, there was no reference for this. It's just off the top of my head. In terms of construction for this, I drew the cake and the table on a separate layer, but the candle part of it is on another layer as well. So, and the reason for that is until she actually blows, it doesn't move. So there's not much point doing it. So yeah, that was quite fun. I've got to open the window real quick. So yeah, the thing is, with a simple character, it's very automatic. I'll be back in a second. with a simple character that has basic geometry, it's very automatic, the approach of animation for it. So getting things like the volumes of the chest and the head right is the only real thing to worry about, and then once you get that, it's pretty much just, you know, get the eyes right, 'cause then you've got the nose right, get the nose right, and then you've got the hair right, and so on. And so forth. So it's pretty good. Also, I will say that this is a good example of where the source material of the product is actually a really useful thing to have. Because I believe in this. See, I use that kind of large C-shaped mouth. Quite often I used it in the take and I used it here. But it's not something that, it was something that once I was flicking through the book, I saw a couple of times, and I was like, you know what, I can actually use that. Because if I just go off of sort of model sheets and references, it kind of makes it look like she never opens her mouth that much, so you don't ever try it. So yeah, that's one of the very useful things to have. It's cold today. I believe most of this was shot on 2s, but I believe the blowing at the end with the candle might be on 1s. Because it's quick, it's quick motion, so I don't want people to really look at it for too long. So we're going for that big rise in the chest. Well, actually, we're going for the big rise in the chest, and then the kind of exhale. I wanted to have a sort of pursed lip look that you get when you exhale, but I couldn't seem to achieve the effect. Getting a lot of messages. Okay. So yes, we got that. Yeah, that pursed lip effect that I tried to do, it really wasn't, it kind of just comes off as more of like, you know, she's got her cheeks puffed out. I swear to God, I need to mute this person. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have the sort of pursed lip effect. Hair is always a different one because it's always a debate of what is too much movement and what is too little movement. And it's one of these things called a follow-through action, where it's it's called a follow-through action, which means you're not really working to something. You just keep drawing until it kind of settles. And the reason we do that is because it has a more natural kind of look. Whilst if you go for a pose, it kind of stiffens up the body, or you're locking to something. Well, something like hair or water or things that flow naturally, they don't really have that. And it's a lot of experimentation. So yeah. I did kind of mittenify their hands a bit, just trying to simplify them just so you don't have to do that. Which sometimes works. I think I kept that hump a bit too much on the head. You know, with you got the fringe and then you got the hump. So I've gone for this puffing out the cheeks sort of thing. So I just asked my fiance, who loves this series, by the way. I've never seen her binge read a book, but this was or a comic, no, graphic novel, I guess is the right word. But this is the first one, and she loved it. Just asking her if she wants me to mention anything. She'll probably know more about the character than I do. And yeah, she said, tell people it's the best. And how it's the relationship with the author. Yeah, I guess I can mention that. So the character here of Esther is this young girl who yeah, the character of Esther, which is a young girl, was the daughter of the father. No, the daughter. Yeah, obviously, the daughter's father's friend was the comic book artist of this, and they decided to have a call week by week with the daughter, and she would just tell him how the week's going, what she's thinking, things like that, and he would illustrate the thoughts into weekly comics. Which is how it came to be. So, and they do 52 comics a year, you know, to simulate a year. And it's a very like unfiltered, uncensored version. So I personally, I think it's a good read. I don't think it's the best. Personally. I prefer, but I prefer fantasy things. If it's got a sword and a giant guy who can swing a sword, I'm all for it. You know, my favorite at the moment is Headlopper, which is about a Viking who cuts people's heads off. Which sounds dumb, and every time I try to sell it to somebody, they always think it's dumb. But yeah. This last kind of glowing face looks a bit stupid. I wanted that kind of like puckered lips, like kind of face, but I didn't really manage to get it that much. I probably could have done with just looking at myself and how I do it. So now we're going to do just a little smile at the end. Now some frames a bit off here, but ultimately, I think the effect got achieved. I really like animating this character because it's a simple one, so it's got a lot to it. And I'm animating the fire as well. What about that? Which again, done on ones for very consistent, or very fast motion. Like just snap and it's gone. This is again what we're talking about follow through, where the animation is just one after another. Right, well I think that's, having a look at it, I think that's all I've got time for today. So thank you for watching, and stick around to the end of this, where I'll show you the finished product. I think I do a lot of the tidying up off frame. So. Hope you enjoy. Alright, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.